And now we're official because recording is in progress. My name is Jakaria Stewart. I'm a principal consultant with the improvement team. And we are just so excited to have everybody come today. We are going to kick off a wonderful opportunity for us as improvers to have a community where we can be together. So I'm not going to bore you with salutations and the whatnot because we have a jam-packed agenda and lots of fun. I'd like to start us off by actually asking Lisa Freeman to give us an official welcome. And I'm looking at everybody's names on the screen, and I'm positive 90% of you have to know who Lisa is. She's absolutely amazing and just a joy to work with. But if you would just have some patience with me, I want to read a brief bio for those who don't. So Lisa Freeman serves as the senior advisor in the School of Medicine at Stanford University. She administratively supports the Stanford Medicine Center for Improvement. The goal of the Stanford Medicine Center for Improvement is to become the best at getting better, inspiring and accelerating delivery of consistent, excellent care across Stanford Medicine, measured by performance improvement in safety, quality, patient experience, and cost reduction. From today's baseline and ultimately developing a reputation as a national leader to which others look for inspiration and as an educational resource. That's about the center, but as far as Lisa's background, it's absolutely amazing. So from 2001 to 2016, she was the Chief Executive Officer of the VA for the Palo Alto Healthcare System. And after that, she's come over here and she's done an enormous amount of work to help us in several departments. So if you don't know her, this is your official welcome and opportunity to always reach out to her, but I'm going to turn it over to Lisa so that she can kick us off. Thank you so much, Lisa.
Thanks, Jakaria. And I just can't tell you all how thrilled I am. I mean, absolutely thrilled. This is exactly what the center is about. It's about convening a community of improvers, and all of you are experts in improvement, and we're just so excited to have you together. Just going to tell you a tiny bit about the center. So the center is inclusive of all of Stanford Medicine, the hospitals, the school, UHA, PCHA, Valley Care, everyone welcome at every level, every discipline. And all of you are going to be ambassadors. I'm going to sign all of you up to be affiliates of the center after today, so you can join us on this journey. I want to take just 1 minute to tell you about how the vision for the center came to be. It was Dean Miner in his first couple of years at Stanford. He realized he is responsible for all the faculty that are responsible for quality, safety, patient experience, value, but yet he seemed to be the only thread of continuity across those entities. And I will tell you, in 2014, the idea of being the convener of all the improvement entities in all of those fields or organizations, it was not exactly embraced. Everybody thought, we have our way of improving. Do not bring your theology, your methodology onto us. We're very happy the way we are. But if you fast forward now to 2021, 7 years later, every communication we get, it has the two CEOs and the dean on it and representing all of Stanford Medicine. So this convening of all of you as this group of improvement professionals that are going to help spread the word about this community that we're trying to foster and join and to serve your needs, for you to tell us what the center needs to be so that you can be successful. We're all ears with that, but I'm gonna stop, Jakaria, and get us into the fun of meeting each other and working together. I'll just say one more thing. Any of you at any time, hopefully you're gonna look at the center website if you haven't familiarized yourself with it already, smci.stanford.edu. And any questions you have, I'm happy to give any of you a personal orientation to the center and get you more involved. Thanks, Jakaria.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa. We really appreciate you giving us the background and the inside scoop, right, on how it all started. We are really excited to be affiliated with the Center for Improvement to bring you this space. So this is our first event, and we're looking forward to actually engaging this community monthly moving forward. And so we're going to go through some fun stuff today. Just to give you an idea, we're going to start with tool time, and this is not by any means a standard agenda. This is our first agenda. So you actually are in at the ground level. It's like being part of an IPO. You get to help us dictate and drive how we grow this, how we move forward, and how we make this excellent for ourselves. It's all about value. So we're really excited to hear from you. Today, we're going to start with tool time. So just about 3 to 5 minutes on a tool. And because we're all improvers, we're not going to tell you what the definition of the tool is or anything like that. We're going to have fun, in-depth, thoughtful conversations about these PI things that we live and breathe every day. After that, Ryan is going to walk us through what's called lean copy. He's going to explain it and he's going to take us all the way through it. And we're looking for you to have a very stimulating time with that experience. We hope that you meet someone you hadn't met before that's also an improver within our system, so that you can create relationships that will last and grow your own community of people to lean on. After the lean copy experience, and we'll come back and debrief, and we'll see what we learned today. So I hope that sounds exciting to everyone. I'll watch the numbers. If somebody dropped off after we got to 50, I know it wasn't exciting. That's my first indicator, but we're looking to have a great time. So at that time, I'm going to turn it over to Kathleen, and she is going to give us our tool time talk for today. Kathleen?
Hi, great. Thank you, Jakaria. Really appreciate being able to be here as I get this started. Sorry. As we're starting out, this SCIP, Stanford Medicine's Community of Improvement Professionals, thought we'd start with a tool that would kick off projects. So the project charter. Again, not going through the details. We all know what a project charter entails. Typical elements. This is one used within Stanford Medicine, but I'm sure there are several templates for project charters. What I did want to discuss today was some common mistakes that we make with project charters. And the first one I'm going to spend a lot of time on is no charter. How many of you have gone through projects and actually hadn't completed a charter? I see a few. Yeah, we're all guilty. I'm guilty. The risks of when we don't have a charter is the importance of the project disappears. And so we, by documenting in a charter, it by nature gives it import. Another risk is we delay decision-making. We don't call out who the champions are and who the leaders are. So the project might be delayed because of it. Difficulty managing expectations, scope creep. Within a good charter, you have in scope and out of scope. It's clearly defined, the entire group agrees upon and blesses the charter. So it would be difficult managing expectations without the charter. Lack of authority, again, who is that champion? Who's going to push this through and remove barriers? And then risk of failure is a big one in there. Is if you don't have a record of where you're going, your goals, your benefits, and problem statement, then the risk of this falling off and not succeeding is much higher. Some of the other ones to go through and is a charter seen as something to be checked off. That's another mistake with the charter, is just going through perfunctory and checking the box in there. This is culture, not creating a charter, not putting the time into it as a culture, and we as improvement professionals can require that every committee, every project have a charter, a meaningful charter that lays out all of the key elements. Another mistake is that poorly defined problem statement. Where are we going and why? If you don't make the business case clearly, then you may not get the support needed for the project and those resources. Another pitfall here is lack of a clear goal. I really like this picture. You don't know, if you don't have a clear goal, you don't know when you get there. And so the project charter helps define that goal of the project. This one here, I hate to admit, given I'm a data person, but mired in data, there could be too much data in a charter, in that you are choosing too many measures, or maybe historically, going back 3, 4, 5 years, historically the measure. Really, you need to focus on what's current state and what we want future state to be. So that's another pitfall. And then not enough detail in roles and responsibilities. This is one that I think still exists here. I don't know if, for those of you who don't know me, I'm over at Valley Care, Stanford Valley Care. Here we often put names and titles in the charter of who, but not necessarily the role they're there to fill. And so that's something, if you don't have someone who's going to be the communication person or the data person, and those clearly aren't defined, then when the time comes, you may not have the buy-in and commitment from those folks. And then the lastly is not presenting risks. And this is where you want to identify what could go wrong. Is it something that could extend beyond the project time? Is it something that could be too costly, end up overrun in budget? Or maybe it's the potential that this may get pushed aside, for example, for COVID. And so you want to have that risk, and what's the risk of starting something where it may get pushed aside for other priorities, and say for something like staff wellness and engagement. Do we want to start something and then on wellness and staff satisfaction just to then pull it back because of some other priorities? So in this charters, we want to also have conversations about the risks of doing this project. And now with my 1 minute left, I'm going to throw it to the group for other pitfalls.
Not having a North Star.
Great, exactly. What's the one thing pulling folks true north?
Not having clarity around where the process begins and ends.
So there's the A to Z and then the timeline. No end in sight. Yeah, when do we meet that goal, right? Gets to the clear goal, and when do we meet it? Other thoughts?
The goal is a key one, at least in my view. I can't tell you how many projects I've been on or seen where they get to the end and they're trying to evaluate, did we reach the goal or not? Because they weren't very clear on the measures. And so they're like, well, we feel like it's better than what it was. And you're like, well, feeling doesn't help you much. I mean, I guess it's okay. It's better than nothing. It's better than feeling worse, but it's certainly not a measurable goal.
Mm-hmm. And to follow on that is sometimes you have an idea of what the data you want to be, and then you realize you can't get it, or you get slightly different data, and it doesn't answer the question, the original question you have. So that's too common. And then Micah has a comment: when there are multiple teams, some can disagree on the goal or desired outcome. And I think that's where you have a charter you drafted, it's a living document, but then you come to agree upon what is the goal, and then can hopefully always come back to that charter and say what was in scope and out of scope, and here was our mission here. So great. Any other thoughts? Okay, I know that was rapid, but I appreciate looking at the charter to kick this off, and I'll pass it to Ryan for.
Thanks. Yeah, that was great. So good. So that tool time piece, we're really wanting to give just a teaser into not learning about the tool itself, but learning maybe some tricks and tips about tools. So if you have particular interest in a tool or some tips and tricks that have worked, or pitfalls that you've seen that haven't worked on a particular tool, let us know, because we'd love to have other people present and then engage the group. It's something we're trying out and seeing how it works. So the next piece we're really excited about. So what we're trying to build in this group is really a community. We're really trying to make the world of improvers within Stanford Medicine smaller. And our attempt to do this is a virtual coffee shop, for example. So what we're going to be doing in just a moment, we're going to be breaking out into different groups. So we have facilitators for each of those groups, and we will all be choosing the same 3 topics to discuss. Not necessarily, we won't necessarily go in depth on all of them, depending on what group. One group might be particularly interested in the first topic, another might be really interested in the second, or someone else in the third. So depending on the group, the moderator or the facilitator will help guide that discussion and walk you through those topics. And it's not really intended to be something where there is a right answer or there is an expert in the room. I think we are all at all different levels of expertise in this, and it's really about sharing and communicating and coming up with some ideas that others might have, more so than actually getting the right answer. We do, however, will be monitoring for some of those topics that seem to resonate with people, and those areas that maybe people are struggling with. And maybe if there's particular themes, we will go out and reach out to some experts in the field, whether it be internal to Stanford or external in the community at large, and pull them in and potentially do some interviews via podcast, or maybe do a lecture series, or bring them into something like this. So this will be a stepping stone to potentially other areas other venues that we already have, and some new ones that we haven't tried before. So it's quite exciting. So what we are going to be doing is when we go into these breakouts, we will be using Mural. I'll be dropping a link into the chat in just one moment. The facilitators to start will go through a quick icebreaker with each of you. And so we'll do that to get know each other's names, because part of this is learning about one another, getting to know people that maybe we didn't work with in the past, try to make that community smaller. The next thing we will do in those breakouts is we will actually walk through topic at a time within the group. And that is really, you're the stars of the show here. This is not, we don't have, again, experts. You're the experts, so we're going to want you to talk amongst yourselves about these topics. So first thing is I'm going to walk you through what this looks like in terms of Mural, and then I'll share the link with you. So I'm going to first share my screen so that you can see what it looks like. All right, so you'll see here that we have a Mural. If you've not used Mural, it is fairly simple. You go in and we have some pre-populated discussion topics to start with that we may use. We're going to vote on these. I've got check marks at the bottom here that you can each grab a check mark and choose which topic you want to discuss, and whichever ones get the top 3 amount of votes, those we're going to move over to the topics we'll be discussing today. Then once today's finished, those topics will move over to topics already discussed. And next time we will come and create new ones and do the same thing. We have an area over here for actions and follow-up that maybe those topics that got a lot of momentum or areas that people struggled with where we can follow up, we can write notes there. At the very end, we will be doing what I like, what I wish, what I wonder for all of you to add. It's kind of like our plus delta at the end. So when we have that time, I'll ask you to jump in and just type whichever ones you want as quickly as you want. And the bottom section is just for notes for our facilitators. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drop the link in, and hold on a second. Where's my link? I'm going to drop the link in, and you guys can go ahead and go into it, and then I will guide you all on how to do that. So you'll go ahead and click on this link. It will open up Mural, and what I would like you to do is take a look at these 6 items, and if they resonate with you, no need to add any others. However, if someone just moved, I think you moved the whole thing. So let me lock that so that doesn't happen again. Okay. So what you can do is if there's a topic that is of interest in you that you want to talk about, go ahead and type that in by double clicking on that particular, or single clicking and double clicking on that item, and then go ahead and just type in there a new one. Don't type over the existing ones, but go ahead and pick a blank one and add one if there's a particular topic that you would like to discuss. And if these seem like a good start and you like one of them, grab a check mark and bring your check mark up to the one that you select that you'd like to talk about today. Okay, so I will wait for a couple minutes and see once the movement slows down, we'll get to see which one's got the most votes and we'll move them over. Okay. It looks like people are jumping in. That is awesome. Love it. This is what I love about the improvement community. You guys just jump right in. That's what we were hoping for. Excellent. So we've got a couple new ones posted up there. Okay, how to facilitate meetings in virtual environment. You know what we're doing right now. Oh, someone someone moved it already. All right, this is fun. Let's see. Okay.
Okay, Ryan, about 20 more seconds. I'm just timekeeping.
Perfect, thank you.
Uh-huh.
This one is really tiny. Okay, all right, looks like we're getting some consensus here. Looks like the top three seem to be falling in line. 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6.
So it looks like my my phone dropped. So sounds like I'm back. Okay. All right. So everybody, it looks like we've got the top three seem to be the top three there. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 9, 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay. All right. So it looks like we've got how do you successfully scale improvement effort or improvement? How do you navigate political landmines? And how do you remain unattached when leading an improvement team? So I'm going to keep these others up because we got quite a few votes on some of these others. So we'll save these and move these to the top for next time. But what we're going to do now is I've got our facilitators and they have the screen up. All of you do too. So you don't need to screenshot, take a screenshot or anything of this screen. But we're going to break you out into groups. And what we would like you to do is we're going to have you discuss each of these topics, starting with 5 minutes for the first topic. And we're going to see how that goes. And if there's a lot of momentum, that will get extended to the point where if that carries the whole time, then that will be the topic. You can discuss that the whole time. It's up to your group. But if you choose, you can move on to the next one if it slows down, and then to the next one at the end. Are there any questions about
Ryan.
this?
Yeah, quickly on the topic that says, how do you remain unattached when leading an improvement team? We're not talking about project teams, right? We're talking about a team of improvement professionals. Yeah, I just want to make sure we understand that all across the board, what we're talking about.
Yeah, I think that you can discuss within your team, but my understanding was actually the opposite, was as you're leading the improvement effort and the team itself,
Okay.
like how do you manage that push-pull of getting too involved and having the project dependent on you, and not involved where you're not engaged and the team is kind of floundering. So there is a balance to walk there.
Great.
But you guys, I mean, if you decide with your group that you want to change that definition, go for it. Yeah, that's totally up to you guys. Okay. All right. So it looks like we may be going with 4 groups of 11 potentially. So let's see what we've got. Any other questions? Oh, the link again. It's maybe a little late, but we've got it. Okay, sorry, John, I didn't see that until now. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and Selena, can you break us out into those groups? And then we'll just get started. And then we'll be coming back. Well, Selena, you've got the time. So just look out for the time. Facilitators manage it because we're going to be trying to return to the group at 2:50. So that's 250. All right. And remember the icebreaker, everybody. Okay.
Am I facilitating?
Well, I really wanted to come.
All right, great. Outstanding. It's funny, I didn't see the countdown. My whole team gave me the countdown, 4, 3, 2, 1. So that's the last thing I heard as we're going into this. So hopefully that, actually, give me some real-time feedback in chat. I'd love to see it. I don't have time to go through everyone talking about their feedback, but I'd really love to see some comments about how that felt, how that went. I know our team only got through two of the questions, but it was good conversation. So what I'd like to do is let's go through and have Chessa start and give me just a couple of highlights.
Let me zoom back into my notes over here. See, I was awesome and even color coded mine. I see that other people didn't, so they're clearly slacking on their part, but that's okay. We had some really interesting discussions in our group. One of the things that Jake actually brought up in our group is that we have to stop calling spread. It's not a disease. It's something that we want to adopt, right? And I thought that was a really interesting way of phrasing that, because it's kind of right? You know, when somebody says, oh, we're going to spread this or roll out this thing to a different area, it's definitely comes across as very demanding as opposed to adopting it. A couple other folks were saying how it's really helpful to involve like other participants from the original project into that group. And I've definitely seen that in my experience too, you know, give them that personal perspective about why it worked well, how it worked well. That was really cool. And then navigating political landmines, I just wanted to call out that Jake wanted to skip this one. So just, you know, throwing that out there. No, just kidding, Jake. I think our biggest takeaway from this one was that we need lots of communication, lots of feedback loops, making sure that we're including all the right stakeholders, all of the right people. And that's really, really hard. It's way easier said than done. And that's super challenging to do. And the last one, how do you remain unattached when leading an improvement project? We felt like it was a trick question. We all felt pretty significantly that it's important to have the passion behind improvement in order to get the team to move forward. But one of our people, I can't remember who said this, brought up that it's important to delineate the difference between being passionate and being personal. And you can definitely separate those things. It's tough, but you can definitely separate those things in order to, you know, get the team to be engaged and get the team to do the things that need to be done. I feel like those are the main takeaways.
That's awesome. Thank you very much. How about team 2? Who do we have on team 2? Who do we have? Who is that? It's Joyce, I think, right? Was that Joyce? No?
Sorry, I don't remember my group number. All right, so our group, we only had, we delved into the how do you remain unattached when leading an improvement team. And overall the consensus was it really depends on the project, who's on the team, the goals, and I think we can all agree with that. Those are all factors that kind of play into how much you should be involved and when you should take a step back. Some of us shared that it's really difficult not to get too attached, especially when you're kind of like a doer type of person and you'd rather just do it yourself and get it done ASAP so you can meet your goals and your deadlines. We had some project and program managers in our group, and Lisa brought up a really good perspective about our psychological safety when it comes to speaking up when your leaders or your physician partners are asking you to do things that are maybe not in your swim lane, in like outside of scope, or maybe just really not your job. And we talked about how it really depends on who that person is and your relationship with them, and whether or not you can kind of share that information with them and tell them, you know, hey, like, I think this is more suited for this person, or maybe we can suggest this idea or this person to do it instead. But it is definitely still something that I, as a program manager, struggle with, and I think some of the other ones in our group also agreed. There's no easy answer, and I think we kind of came to that consensus. And lastly, overall, it's just really nice to have lots of different people in our group from across the organization.
Excellent. Thank you, Joyce. Okay, Don, because of time, I'm gonna have you and me only pick one kind of overarching kind of feeling theme.
You know, if I had to pick, let me see here. If I had to pick just one theme through all the discussions, it really is about building relationships with people, you know, seeking first to understand whoever it is you're working on, because to me, those cut across all three of the topics that we were discussing.
Good. Yeah, I'd say ours is somewhat similar, and that is the discussion around ours, at least on question 2, was really related to understanding people's strengths, identifying influencers, listening well, taking time to learn people's motivation and goals. That helps us to understand ways to avoid those landmines. So it was an excellent conversation. So I love this, guys. I think this was really great. Thank you for jumping in and going for it. Again, continue to do the chat. What I'm going to do next is I would like us, let's see, we're gonna, you guys all have the link in Mural, but let me see if I'll go ahead and drop it back in so you guys have the link again. And then what I would like you to do is go down to toward the bottom and enter in the area that says, I wish, or what I like, what I wish, what I wonder. And go ahead and fill out any of those things. So things you wish we would have done or wish this would have looked like, things you really liked about today, and maybe some topics for the future, or things you wonder maybe what would happen if. We'd really love to hear your feedback. The other thing is you have this link. So, you know, if time goes and you have to jump off and you thought of something a little later, you can come back and you can add it. We're going to keep this live. So we're going to continue to review this over this next few weeks, and it's going to be a repository for us. So as we hear from you, maybe over the next week, this stimulated some thought, and go ahead and reach out to myself, Jakaria, Selena, one of the team, and let us know what you thought or ideas that you have to improve this. We would like to practice the improvement methodology with all of you that we're teaching. So this is a small test of change. So if there's some things that we hear feedback and ways that this can be improved, we're going to try to incorporate it next time. We're going to continue to iterate. So your help and your feedback is valuable. All right. So I'm going to pass it to Jakaria for the final words.
Well, thank you. I want to again thank everyone for taking time to hang out in the Stanford community of improvement professionals. And I want to remind you that this is your community. So it only gets great as we make it great. I want to encourage everyone here to lean in. Let us know if you want to be involved on future planning, if you have any ideas. We'll definitely be looking at the like, wish, and wonder feedback because we know iteration is the key to improvement. So Again, thank you, everyone. I want to thank everybody that's worked on this thus far. And I want to close with saying, I want to give a huge shout out to Selena. A lot of times people don't know who's doing the work in the background so that you actually could see the screen, because if it was me, you guys, the technology would have died. So there's always a superhero. And I just want to give Selena a shout out and say thank you, because she's been with us every step of the way as we have worked hard to develop this. But you have an opportunity to be a superstar too. So I look forward again to the Plus Delta and to hearing from each and every one of you if you'd like to be involved with us moving forward, or if you have any ideas. With that being said, please definitely leave that feedback in the mural so we can iterate, and let us know how you want to be involved, because we're looking forward to growing this thing. Thank you again for joining us for the first session of many more to come, and we hope that you have a fantastic day. Thank you again so much.
Thank you, everybody.